Cheers, guys. Epix911, the elitist geek, back for part 2 of the history of 3D gaming. In the late 1980s, IBM PC clones began their march to dominance on the computer game front. The Atari ST and Amiga, which had started the mid-80s with static but superior graphics compared to the IBM clones, were now being saddled with that very same static technology, compared to the more modular IBM clones and the newly released VGA card. In 1990, the release of the VGA-supported Wing Commander set the stage for the 3D explosion that was to come. Meanwhile, on the console front, 1990 saw the release of the Super Nintendo, which, along with its Super FX cartridge chip capability, would help bring 3D to the consoles. Sit back and enjoy part 2 of our journey into the history of 3D gaming. It is hard to underestimate how important Wing Commander was to the rise of both IBM clones and a unified PC gaming platform. You see, up to this time, PC gaming was a fractured affair. PC gaming was split among several computers. Here's a quick summary. IBM clones, Commodore Amiga, Commodore 64, Atari ST, Atari 8-bit, Apple Macintosh, Apple II, Sinclair Spectrum, Lord Sugar's Amstrad CPC 464, and Japan's MSX computer rounded out just the mainstream. It is no wonder that so many games suffered from poor porting when the PC landscape was so incredibly vast. Well, all of that began to change with the launch of a title called Wing Commander. Wing Commander, released in 1990 by a then still independent Origin Systems, revolutionized the PC game industry. Atari ST and Commodore Amiga users who had been busy fighting a petty platform war took notice. I know, because I was one such user. Suddenly my Amiga 500, with its limited and paltry 32, 64 color game graphic modes, could no longer cut it. And like the loser guy who drops his long-suffering, patient, but now homely wife of many years for the younger, hotter supermodel, I was hooked. While IBM clones still suffered in the sound department compared to some of the other platforms, it delivered in glorious 256 color VGA. Words to this day fail to describe what it was like for myself and other fellow Amiga users, having just come off the horribly slow and inefficient Ultima 6 port for the Amiga, or that crappy 32 color King's Quest V port abomination. To see Wing Commander running on a 386DX40 clone was to see the future of gaming in real time, there in front of you. Origin Systems followed up Wing Commander with sequels. And of course, Strike Commander, the then vaporware joke target champion of all time, a title and crown which Duke Nukem Forever would eventually wear. Suddenly, all those previously poorly shaded polygons or Vectrex-style games seemed so primitive in comparison. This was truly what it would have been like to be in a Star Wars universe blasting away at the enemy. 2 more VGA games released in early 1992 cemented the deal. Ultima Underworld from Looking Glass Studios and published by Origin Systems brought the first real 3D engine. Players could climb ladders, stairs, they could swim, fight monsters with weapons and spells, all in glorious, colorful, 256 color 3D. Lord British's realm of Britannia, albeit the portion underneath his castle, was now available for us gamers to explore like some virtual wet dream. When id Software released its pseudo 3D title Castle Wolfenstein 3D, the deal for most users to abandon their platform of choice for the new frontier of IBM clone PC gaming was signed, sealed, and delivered. Wolfenstein 3D took the old 2D game of a POW loose in a German prison to new heights with horribly inappropriate German digitized voices that every teenager or 20-something looking for shock value craved instantly. Games came out so fast and furious that those of us who abandoned our previous platforms didn't even wait for the ink to dry on the divorce papers. We willingly gave up house and palimony so we could sleep in with our new hot young PC mistresses. And lest any of you think I'm being overtly sexist in my comments, please feel free to replace mistress or ex-wife with the gender and/or title of your choice. In 1993, IBM PC clone gaming was firmly entering its golden age, and console users began to take notice. Thankfully, for them, in February of 1993, Super Nintendo users got their own 3D masterpiece in the form of Star Fox. Star Fox utilized an on-cartridge coprocessor chip called the Super FX, which was 21 MHz capable chip that was able to deliver 3D polygon graphics. Star Fox was an instant hit and managed to keep most console users faithful to their platform of choice, as Super FX was even able to deliver the next PC gaming game changer: Doom. Tell any gamer the title Doom and you will be greeted with instant acknowledgement. Doom is the title that the world, not just PC gamers, took notice of. Doom is the only title, the one title that anyone from elementary school age to 40 plus will know at least something of. Doom, released by id Software in December of 1993, gave holiday goers a shareware treat that delivered in spades. The cartoony graphics of Wolfenstein 3D that had seemed so good just 2 years previous were replaced with gritty and realistic-looking demons and zombified space marines. You, the gamer, were on Mars. Along with delivering a hit for the ages, a true paradigm shifter, id gave gamers something else: multiplayer gaming and game modding. Multiplayer ensured the game experience was not just limited to you and your buddies huddled around a PC, but it allowed you to play with others from the comfort of your own chair in whatever foul or not so foul lair you chose to call your pit of debauchery. Whereas modding allowed you to bend the creator's universe to your own diabolical whims and fancies. 3D and gaming in general would be changed forever.